Hey, what's up, you guys? This is Curtis with Show Up Lifestyle. I want to talk about how to end the rat race because a lot of us are in the rat race, you know, and problems with the rat race is where, overworked, underpaid, we're unsatisfied, unfulfilled. We can't really live our lives because we're working for somebody else, making else's dreams happen, and we're feeling unfulfilled ourselves, and we don't know where to go. We don't know how to escape this rat race. We don't know how to live our lives because our life is our work. And that's what the rat race is. That's what keeps us in the rat race is we have to be able to afford our life. You know, just to have shelter, just to have clothes, just to have food. We need to be in this rat race. A lot of us need to be in this rat race just to keep that flow going just so we can live our lives. And, one of the questions that appear time and time again is how do we end the rat race? Not only how can I get out of the rat race, but how can we end the rat race altogether? So we can start living fulfilled lives, so we can start having, this self-worth, this self-fulfillment, so we can start living and not just working. So I want to talk about how money was created in the beginning, because at first it was, there's always been a time where a small percentage had most of the money, and before it was gold. So the people who owned the gold turned the gold into the dollar value, and then the people who owned the dollars were now able to inflate money and put as much money into the world as they wanted to. And this is how they built this rat race, by putting all these dollars into the economy. So now it's like you work for this paper and we could print as much as we want. So we want everybody to work for us. We want everybody to work for us. So we keep putting out these dollars. You keep working for them. We put shiny objects in front of you so you can want to earn that money. So you can buy these shiny objects and these shiny things. And that's basically how it went. And then now it's a new day and age. Now the dollar is failing. People don't believe in the dollar. People are looking at the dollar and saying, what I bought for a dollar this amount of time ago, now I can't buy anything for the dollar. So now the way the world is going is they want to get into digital dollars. Digital dollars. So now they don't even have to print the dollars. Now they can just put a number into the computer, and that is what you're working for. So they want to go from dollars to digital. So I want to get a little bit into how to end the rat race. If we really wanted to end the rat race, and I'm gonna start off by telling you about a guy named Osho, Osho. Look him up. He's online, and what he did was he built a community of people. And basically what they did was they saved money, came together as a community, bought a piece of property, a piece of land that had a water flow in Oregon. And basically they had, all these different types of people that knew how to build and knew how to engineer and knew how to structure. And they started building their own civilization. They had water, they had houses, they had shelter, they had people who made clothes, and they started to build their own civilization. And what happened was the government basically was trying to shut them down. Because if you think about it, if people start doing this, if people start making their own civilizations and people work together, they have no more control. The way they control people is by pushing dollars into the economy, by controlling the media, by telling you what to buy, by telling you what you need, and what class and what status you need to be at, how people will look at you a certain way if you act a certain way, and they put these beliefs into your head through the media. So I talk about it in my book, how the rat race began, um, and how we can end it through community, and that's really what it is. And you can tell that, you know, large corporations, government doesn't want this. They don't want us together. That's why we have social distancing right now. That's why they track your phones. That's why they don't want large groups of people coming together. Because when large groups of people come together with one mindset, and that mindset is to create your own community, create your own civilization, live by your own rules, it it destroys the rat race. When people no longer need these shiny objects, when people no longer need, to buy the houses, when people no longer need medical support, it destroys the whole plan to keep us in the rat race. We have we if we come together, we're unstoppable. But separated, we can't do anything. And we just keep going into these beliefs. So what I came up with, and it's in my book, The 925 Escape Plan, and it's basically going back to very old times when people were bartering. So if you get a big community to come together and you buy a piece of land and you start using the community to build shelter, you start using the land for your resources. If you buy a land with lots of trees, a water flow, mud, you have pretty much everything you need to start building shelter for people. And if you can build shelter for people and not, I will pay you to buy this house, it's we all live here, we're all going to build our houses together, and this is the way we're going to live. And, bartering comes through with this. Somebody makes clothes. In one part of the land, somebody is making clothes. In another part of the land, people are growing food. In another part of the land, there's entertainment, all within this community. And what happens is we count on big corporations for everything. There's a shortage of toilet paper right now. If you had your own community and you were building resources to create toilet paper for your community, you wouldn't need the corporation. You wouldn't need the big corporation to get you toilet paper. You wouldn't need the big corporation to get you clothes. If you have a community where there's doctors and nurses, you would have your free health care, your free medical, your free dental, because it would be community. And people go to the medical, they get treatment, and then the doctors, the nurses, they have their home already built, they're living for free. If they need food, they go to the part of the land where people are growing food. You get fresh fruit, fresh vegetables, fresh grains, all of this stuff. And it comes from bartering. These people here have this, we trade our service for their service, and it works as a community because everyone plays their role. And you don't do it for money because everything within the civilization is provided to each other. You don't really need cars to smog up the world because everything's in your civilization. You can walk to where you want to go, you know. And in this civilization, you can have a horse with a carriage. You can have animals. You can have a horse with a carriage that will take you there. No gas needed. Free ride from this horse with a carriage. And people don't think about how simple life can be because people are so interested in getting higher wages, getting higher salaries, getting more expensive cars, getting bigger houses, and it separates us from our family. Mothers and fathers don't raise their kids anymore because they have to go to work. In a civilization where everybody works together, where everybody looks out for one another, and we're not all after profit, because that's what this economy is about, profiting off of other people's losses, And what are they losing? They're losing their time, their energy, and people are profiting off of this. But in a civilization where we all work together, where we barter our services, then everybody wins. Everybody gets to play their equal part. Everybody gets to eat. Everybody has shelter. Everybody has transportation. Everybody has healthcare needs. And everything's taken care of because you have this civilization where everybody works together. But right now we're so focused on big corporations, and we're so focused on the fancy cars and all the jewelry and all these things that we don't understand how to work together as a community. We're all in this together. That's not true. If we were all in this together, then why is there 1% of the world earning 90% of all the money being earned? And those are the same people that are telling us to work together. So to end the rat race, we'd have to build communities where people look out for each other, where we grow our own food, where we provide our own nurses and own dentists and our own lawyers and our own armies. And that's where what Osho did too. They started to build an army because in order to have your own country, to be considered your own country, you have to have your own army. Um, and I mean, basically, what comes down to it is the government will stop that because the government has a big army. And because of that, they don't allow people to group together. And once it gets a certain size, they just shut it down. Your army is not strong enough to defeat their army and have your own civilization. So that's basically how you end the rat race. Everybody just has to come together. And, I talk more about it in my book. I go more into detail. I don't want to say too much on this channel, but that's my advice on how to end the rat race. If you have an idea of how you would end the rat race, please leave a comment below. I would love to hear your ideas. Um, I'm not saying my way is the truth, my way is right. It's just a theory, and I mean, nobody's ever ended the rat race, so all we have is theories until they're tested. All right, so thank you for watching, you guys, and please have a safe day.